Alright guys, first of all, sorry for a hoarse voice. Today it will be a bit of a long video, so bear with me. I must say that I recently have more and more comments and people write to me saying that my content may be a little bit more complicated than it should be, and some people cannot follow or maybe misunderstand it, so like hard to grasp, and I shall put maybe in some simpler way, simple words. So I decided in this video I will start with main thoughts in very simple terms and just state the facts, and then eventually I will add some analysis and description why I think so, put some rationale behind it. So for those of you who just want the gist of the ideas, you can watch and listen just the very beginning, and then if you want to dig into this more deeply, you can continue and follow my logic here. So first of all, guys, what I see, I think that we will continue to rise, but very soon, maybe not tomorrow or next week or next month, but very soon, anytime soon actually, there will be a massive correction. And the levels where I think it will happen, like $13,500 and $16,800. So those are like highly probable levels where we may see this correction. So at some point we will see a significant drop, and this drop will be something like 30, 40, maybe even more % from the top. This is the first and very important point. I don't want to say go short. It's really risky. Don't short Bitcoin when it is rallying upwards. What can you do if you want to increase your position is to try to buy when it will have this correction, like again, those 30, 40, 50%, not for the whole year of your money, just average down with a portion of your money which you able to lose and still will be fine without this money. So, or lock this money for unknown time, like year or something like that, because there's still possibility that this will be a huge bull trap and we will continue to falling after this huge correction. Although I still pretty sure that it's very, very unlikely, and after this correction the rise will continue and it will be even stronger, even higher, and we will go above previous all-time high, so you can close your position at $1,100 or whatever you think it's reasonable for you. This is the second point. And the third point is, right now altcoins dropped a lot, and I know many people are in altcoins for almost like 100% of their portfolio, which is really bad. And also I know that a lot of people have like 90% loss on those portfolios. So I don't think that it's reasonable to close your position and move to Bitcoin right now, because it's just 10% of your money there. What you can do is you can add more, but in Bitcoin, and not average your altcoins, guys. It's the craziest thing which you can do. Try to average down to the asset which potentially may not return back. What you can do is you can add your Bitcoin, and if your altcoins will shoot up, you will still return your losses. Because again, 10x for altcoins, it's nothing, you know? And here is the third point. I strongly believe that very soon, just when Bitcoin will start to have the correction, altcoins will continue to rise, and even on the way of Bitcoin downwards, we will see the altcoins increasing in the price, and we will maybe enter into the even new altcoin season, and it may happen again very, very soon. Don't get crazy, don't get overly optimistic on that, but just have some hope for the nearly hopeless positions which you have, I guess. Now, if you want to know the details, let's follow with the analysis. First of all, on a short time frame, as I posted in the Telegram, as soon as we broke this triangle formation and left this channel, it was very likely that we'll continue to have a growth, the continuation of the growth, and indeed we went above on the nice volume. I said, guys, see the volume here. We tested this level once again and started to grow. So the top was like $13,000. We had a correction of this top and we are continuing to grow higher. Now, to the first point, why do I think that we will continue to grow, but then we'll have a correction very, very soon? First of all, if you look at this chart and let's say switch to the weekly time frame, what you will see is that this rally which we have right now is very, very similar in terms of the slope, in terms of the craziness to what happened previously in 2017. You see, it's almost identical. We see this preliminary growth with a correction and mooning within a few weeks. The same is happening right now. Doesn't mean that we'll go to 20,000. I don't think so. But the rise is still could be really, really crazy. The main point here is that as soon as you see this kind of rise or this kind of growth, you would have a correction almost without any doubts, like 99.9% chance that this growth will have a massive correction at some point. The only question is when or where this correction will be. And I will tell you what I think about it and where this will happen. First of all, let me show you Bollinger Bands as well. Actually, as soon as we have Bollinger Bands with the green candles above the upper band, you have maybe 5 candles max above the Bollinger Band. And now we have, well, 2, maybe almost 3, okay, 2 green candles above. And it still could stay there for a bit of the time. You see, in the previous rally, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles here. You can find other examples where 5 green candles above the upper band led to the correction. So now we are well above it and it's absolutely overbought. So there is no wonder that we'll have the drop at some point. And in that way, we have like 3 weeks more of the possible growth, which again will bring us to a pretty high level. So where this level would be? Actually, there are several points which I would like to address here. First, Fibonacci retracement. We did test 50% before. We did hover around this area. We broke it upwards. Next one, as you know, is 61.8% at around $13,500. And this is really, really critical. Actually, in one of the previous videos, I was talking about the credible crypto analysis with the Elliott waves theory. And here is the point which he also addressed and which I would like to translate here and say my opinion on that. If you look at the history of the Bitcoin price, which happened starting from 2011, then we had several cycles of rallies with corrections. So just look at the Fibonacci retracement levels for all of those rallies. Let's say start here. And actually, Credible Crypto used a bit different approach, but I prefer to have Fibonacci. So you have top around here and then bottom around here. And you see at 61.8%, the growth actually started to become really parabolic right here. So there is some kind of preparation in this area, but after that, even maybe 50%, you can say that, but 50 to 61.8%, you have absolutely crazy growth. And of course, after 100%, it's even more pronounced. But this was the very first stage. Maybe it's not that reliable. Let's look at the second rally. Again, maximum, minimum. And where is 61.8%? Here. Next candle after that. Absolutely massive. Completely crazy rally. Let's look at the next cycle. The high, the low, and then where is our 61.8%? It's actually over here. You see, the price did test it once, couldn't make it, had a correction, broke it very strongly, and then had one more correction, tested this level once again. After that, we had our beautiful rally, which ended with $20,000 at the peak. What do we have now? We have pretty much the same thing in terms of the testing of the levels. So it's much faster than before, but the levels work in a pretty much the same way. And this situation may repeat itself with this level, which is $13,500. So one scenario is that we'll test it and have a correction, and then after that we'll test it again and broke it upwards, or we'll actually break this level and have the continuation of the growth, and then we'll test it from the top. And here I will tell you to which area it will happen. In fact, if you will look at the moving averages, which we did cover at some point several videos ago with the multiplications of those moving averages, which played in an absolutely fantastic way, then you would see that last time when we looked at it, it was testing this green moving average, which was at $11,200, and we did have a pullback from this moving average and then tested several times again and then break it. So the next one is at $16,800, and this would be the possible level at which price will have a correction, will have a pullback to the previous Fibonacci retracement level, which is at $13,500. In fact, it may have an even deeper correction to this level, which is a little more than $11,000, and that would be an absolutely reasonable, like 30, 40 or more percent correction. And from that point, we will have the continuation of the growth. In fact, again, you can return to the previous history and see how the price did react and had corrections from those moving averages. So pretty much the same thing may happen right now. Moreover, guys, as you know, there's a saying that one should buy on the rumors and sell on the news. What are the rumors right now, or at least kind of news which didn't become a reality, is that CFTC approved Bitcoin-backed futures by Ledger X, and you know, it's pretty much similar to what is made by Bakkt, but Bakkt is not live yet, while Ledger X is already approved by CFTC, which pretty much means that each and everyone out there who wants to buy Bitcoin will be able to do that legally. But here is the point. In order to buy Bitcoin with this contract, you need to have this contract backed by Bitcoins, where these Bitcoins will be bought. These Bitcoins will probably be bought at OTC market and spot market. If it is spot market, then of course it will increase the demand, decrease the supply, the price will shoot up. If it will be bought on OTC, then because of the difference in the price of the spot and OTC market, we will have the correction of that eventually, and OTC will affect in this way positively to the price on the spot. And considering the volume which would happen there, because investors could be really huge and it's like investment funds and everything, so you may expect a completely insane rally, even comparing to the one which we had so far. And what I'm saying is that while people were buying these rumors, there was a lot of rumors so far. So people were buying these rumors on this way up, and at some point there will be news, guys, and at this news a lot of people will sell. And this is exactly when I would see this correction to happen. You know, I was very bullish during all this time, starting from December 24th, when I was saying that market probably reversed already, and I added my rationale behind it. And I was continuing to say, guys, we will not see a major correction because of many factors, and I did cover like dozens of videos on that matter. Now it's time to be more cautious. I think we're approaching the point when this correction will happen, but we shouldn't freak out. We shouldn't be worried about the future continuation of the fall or something like that. I still believe that we will continue to grow. It's just a temporal shakeout, but we still need to consider this. And finally, one more point about the market condition. And you see, recently we went above a very important line which served as support for the price for very long time in the history of Bitcoin. You can say this is the mean price, and in fact, if you look at this line in a very short time frame, let's say 1 hour time frame, after this test moved once again to the upside. So this is a very strong confirmation, in my opinion, that we are switching to the very new phase, much faster growth, absolute craziness, but unbelievable profits. Another thing which makes me think that the correction is around the corner is that if you remember, we were looking at this amazing correction between the capitalization of Tether and Bitcoin price, and we had this delay for like 33 days of the reaction of Bitcoin price to the change in the capitalization of Tether. And right now the rise of the capitalization is slowing down, and potentially we'll have even the decrease of that, something like that. So 33 days from now we would expect the reaction from the price of Bitcoin to this event. In fact, the closest one is from this point, and it will be something like June 29th, so basically 3 days from now, and the final one will be July 24th. So one may say that here we will have the correction from 13,500. Here we may have a correction or some oscillations around $16,800. And this correlation becomes even more interesting if you will look at the Tethered Dominance. So Tethered Dominance compared with the price of Bitcoin looks absolutely amazing. If you don't see what I'm talking about when you look at these two charts, when the red curve is the dominance of Tether and blue curve is the price of Bitcoin, I will invert the scale and make it a little bit more clear. You see, as soon as the dominance of Tether is going up, the price of Bitcoin is going up. As soon as dominance of Tether is going down, the price of Bitcoin is going down, and so on and so forth. You see, it's absolutely amazing correlation. But of course, keep in mind that this is the inverted scale. So this makes me think that that correlation of the Tether capitalization and the price of Bitcoin is also makes sense even more. And once again, we have this slowing down, and this slowing down happened actually after this one. So very soon we may see the reaction of the price of Bitcoin, guys. Okay, now let's talk about altcoins. And altcoins are bleeding and continue to drop, as we did cover this also before in videos. The line on the Bitcoin dominance is headed to 68, maybe 70 even percent. We broke this resistance, we went above the previous high, so it's just a matter of time when we will reach those levels, and probably it will continue to happen until this correction which I was talking about on Bitcoin, when the altcoins start to return their positions. So why it is happening, guys? You see, if you look at the weekly time frame, at the total capitalization of the altcoins, and you will plot 20, 50 and 86 weeks moving averages, then you would see that here we have a golden cross, but here we also have the price testing 86 moving average, and this is actually almost 20 months moving average, so it makes some sense. But you say, why did you pick those moving averages? Well, you can find that it did play out several times in the history. For example, for Bitcoin, recently we had this golden cross, price went above this moving average, tested from the upside, had an engulfing candle, and shoot for 70% in 3 weeks. This is absolutely bullish. You can find another example in the history, and actually much more of them. For example, a previous cycle, this is the golden cross, price did go above this moving average, tested from the upside, returned to the area above this moving average, and then we had the continuation of the growth with a completely new phase and much faster speed. So while Bitcoin already in this phase and approaching actually to the correction which I was talking about, altcoins just started to do that. As soon as we will break above this line, it is very likely that a lot of FOMO will bring new capital to the market, and we'll see the altcoins reaching Bitcoin in terms of the profits. And the point is, I don't want to say that we need to buy alts right now. I guess that's if you already have like 100% of your portfolio with alts and they went down 90%, you want to average down, but it's the worst thing actually which you can think of, because still it's very likely that we may have a correction even more, and that would be completely nonsense in terms of the risk management. What you can do is you can add Bitcoin, or you can add Bitcoin partially on your position, but if altcoins will make those 10x's or whatever from the current point, you will still be in a very good position, because you're already almost all in alts, right? So you don't need to be overexposed in the altcoins. Try to diversify in something else, at least in Bitcoin. Another argument to that is, let's say we can look at XRP. If you look at the XRP chart and with respect to Bitcoin, then you would see that we had this support which we tested once, twice, and recently we broke it downwards. Bear trap, or this is the asset which is dying. But what is actually happening is that Bitcoin is now in a very fast growth phase, and this is pretty much expected. So of course we cannot say that XRP is something like stronger than the overall market, than Bitcoin or other alts. No, we can't say that, but we can actually look at XRP to dollar, and although it will not show you the fact that XRP is stronger than Bitcoin, but it will show you the main behavior of the asset. What is it? First, you can look at the level of XRP price before this huge pump. You see, we did hold this level many times, but we almost retraced to 100% from the pump. This is the perfect situation for the following growth. So basically, we closed all this rise to almost 100%. We have the accumulation, and now we have started the reversal of the price. Basically, we had this resistance, which was tested several times. And you can look that during this price, we had these pullbacks. One pullback, the price had new low. One more pullback, a lower price. And then we had this rise, which wasn't followed by the similar decrease. So instead of the decrease, we actually have the consolidation with the continuation of the growth. We had a test of this resistance. And very likely, this is the very strong signal that is very likely we will break it, and as soon as we will break it, this would make it an even stronger signal to the fact that this asset is about to enter the new phase, the new growth, and we will see, I don't know, maybe not something like this, but at least the bleeding which happened all that time will stop. And many other altcoins are looking like that right now. XRP is just an example. I just know that a lot of you are holding XRP and you wanted to see whether it is any hope on that. I don't say that we are like in front of some crazy run, but I say that now we are starting to have some hope on that. We're starting to see some light in the end of the tunnel, and this is another example of what may happen with all of altcoins, not only like Litecoin or maybe Binance Coin, which also is suffering right now, but pretty much most of the reasonable altcoins. Of course, there's a lot of the shitcoins out there which will drop and continue to fall and will not survive and not return to the previous all-time high whatsoever. But reasonable alts with huge caps, with nice fundamentals, probably will return to their previous positions and make even new all-time highs. So this is another rationale for the fact that we are in front of the kind of altcoin season potentially. And in my opinion, like this breakout in the altcoin capitalization will happen when Bitcoin will make this correction as we were just discussing before. Even if Bitcoin will drop, altcoins will rise on this drop, as opposed to the previous cases when altcoins were going down, when Bitcoin was going down. So let's hope that it will play out, guys. Of course, everything which I say is my personal opinion, not a financial advice. Please make your decision on your own. Try to make more analysis, read, watch. It's your money, your decision, and your responsibility. But those are my thoughts. I hope that they would be helpful. Again, sorry for kind of a long video. I even wanted to make 2 videos at that time, but decided to make one, and I'm not sure whether I'll make one more tomorrow. But in any case, I hope that was useful. Safe trading, guys. See you in the next video, and thank you for watching.